don't think it's possible that we are going in a situation where on and off ramps and all those things are banned in Europe. We are past that. We just made that MiCA license, and it has a lot of bad things in there. It's a lot of like KYC and bureaucracy and bad things for competition also in the Bitcoin startup world. But there's one good thing. It says Bitcoin is a thing. We're not going to ban it. It's regulated. It's an asset. You can buy it. You can sell it. You can trade with it. It's here to stay. So I think nobody talks about the good side of that bill, of saying like, that's a real thing. You have clarity. You can do your Bitcoin thing. So when we come to that realization that in America, there's no way they're going to ban Bitcoin. In Europe, there's no way they're going to ban Bitcoin. In the UAE, there's no way they're going to ban Bitcoin. Even like Russia looks like they're not going to ban Bitcoin.
They're not going to ban it. I'm actually based in Russia right now, so the rhetoric is pretty orange over here.
I love that. And then there is like, there's China. Yeah. I think they're going softer and softer on Bitcoin.
Where personal ownership is legal, like officially, like you can own Bitcoin, you just can't pay for goods. That's like the next hurdle. But owning as an individual is perfectly legal, which is also a big step up from a few years ago when they were banning it and suppressing it.
So even in China, you have a situation where you can own it. So I think we are stepping away from the fear or the threat of Bitcoin being banned worldwide. It was never possible from like starting from 2011, 2013 or something. Like there was a point in Bitcoin's history where it was no longer possible because of game theory that it was banned. But right now in 2025, we have the clarity that black on white, that it's not going to happen. It's just like the genie is out of the bottle. Bitcoin is regulated. Bitcoin is here to stay. That's just very clear to me. And so as long as this is the case, Bitcoin will win because Bitcoin is a better money. It's very clear to me, as long as Bitcoin is allowed to compete, it will compete and it will win. And we're now even above the point that it's even being able, even if the Europe and America and China is coming together, even if like G7 is coming together and all the BRICS countries are coming together and saying, we're going to ban Bitcoin, it's no longer possible.
Yeah.
The incentive structure and the game theory is skewed towards Bitcoin being there and just growing in the future. So the genie is out of the bottle and Bitcoin will win in the end. And there's a great asymmetry coming in because we know that's a fact and we know how good Bitcoin is. But go out on the street and ask 200 people what Bitcoin is and what the difficulty adjustment is and how they can set up a self-custody wallet and all of those questions.
Zero.
Nobody will know. You are lucky if you get one good answer.
Yeah, most probably it will be zero.
You are really lucky if you get like one guy.
True. Which is fascinating, no? Like it's 16 years later since the protocol was born. It's the 5th largest asset class, yet most people have no idea how to operate it, how to hold it. It's crazy. And
that's exactly the point that I wanted to make with the asymmetry. You have the facts, you know what Bitcoin is, and you know there's no way it's not winning anymore. Only a handful of people actually only a handful of people actually understand that. And that's where the asymmetry comes in. That's where you can make the 10x, the 20x, the 100x, the 200x, depending on what your time frame is, with your money, with Bitcoin. And this is what people, I think, don't understand how early we are. And for the people that don't think, again, to this 200 people example, just try it out to ask random strangers on the street about Bitcoin. And then you actually know how early we are. The same thing in the Big Crash movie, how is it called?
The Big Short.
The Big Short, yeah. In this movie, there was a scene where they went on this conference and asked people if they are aware of the risk and all of these things. The same thing you can do right now. Just go on a financial conference that's not a Bitcoin conference and ask them about Bitcoin. You are in the financial sector on a financial conference where they have no clue about what Bitcoin is. Like they have zero understand. Ask them what the difficulty adjustment is and how big a block size is and how often a Bitcoin gets mined and what the block reward is. Like ask them 5 simple Bitcoin related questions that are like technical and you actually have to look into it. They will not be able to answer that even on a financial conference, which is fascinating for me. And this is the asymmetry that we have in Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, I love it. There's a lot of truth in what you just said, Robin. I guess on the last point with the financial conference and generally financial people, when you bring up Bitcoin to them, they straight away dismiss it and they're like, no, it's just a fad. It's not going to last. It's a Ponzi. But actually, the financial people are operating in the biggest Ponzi, which is like this whole shambles of fiat standard, which I think like the scene in the Matrix when they said like it's hard to change the system because people will like die till the end to like keep it running. And I feel like that's how people are in the financial sector. They're so accustomed to the corrupt fiat legacy system that now here is this like young generation of like freedom fighters, and they're here like this code is the pure truth. And it's like, wow, basically everything I've done in my life as a financial professional, basically it's just bogus. Like it's just been theft. And now these guys expose it. And no, I don't want to believe it. I would rather carry on going my rogue way. But sooner or later, those guys will die out. Everything in life is cyclical. We're born, we're dead. The sun comes out, goes down, the moon comes up, it revolves. So I think it's just a matter of time. And going back to what you said, Robin, and I reiterate this many times on my podcast, how early we are. Even though people think they're late to the game because Bitcoin is 100K, I tell them, man, don't look at the fiat price. Even if we're at 150, 200K, it's irrelevant. The fact that what you just said, Robin, go out and ask people in the street, 200, 300 people, what is Bitcoin? Nobody will give you a direct and concrete answer. Is that proof in the pudding that we are so early? And this technology is going to be here long after we're gone, potentially even not just for hundreds of years, but 1,000-year technology, which if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, 16 years is nothing. And we're already the 5th largest asset class in the world. And soon we will be the top number 1. Gold will get pushed to the second one. Will that happen in 5 years, in 15 years? I don't know, but it's certainly going to happen because the scarcest asset in the world is going to take that first place. So I guess today getting involved and getting started in Bitcoin or trying to do something in Bitcoin, there hasn't been a better time ever because 10 years ago, it was still a question mark. You know, is this technology going to succeed? Is it going to get suppressed by the governments, by companies? But now we've kind of broke the water, as you said, and we legitimized it, and it's regulated, like it or not, but it's definitely here to stay. So what's your take on when people say kind of, should I get involved in Bitcoin and start looking for a job in the Bitcoin space?
This is very easy if you understand Bitcoin. Because for me, for the question of like, is it too late for me to get into Bitcoin? No, it's not. You should get into Bitcoin. Is it too late to build something in Bitcoin? No, it's not. We are very early on. Like all those questions, should I do more in Bitcoin? Should I spend more time in Bitcoin? Should I invest more money in Bitcoin? Should I get started in Bitcoin? All those questions are very simple with a yes to answer. But here's why. Bitcoin is not just like an asset. It's not just like an investment. It's not Tesla, Nvidia. It's not even gold or anything like that. We have for the first time ever digital scarcity. We have for the first time ever found something that was never done before. At the same time, the same as in the history it was with the printing press, with the steam engine, with the electronic telegraph, with all those inventions that changed the course of history, we have technology that is more than just a fling. For example, Facebook is a fling, but the HTTPS protocol isn't. The first bicycle company was a fling. I have no clue what the first bicycle company even was. But the wheel, that's something that holds true up until now. And the printing press, the first kind of book companies that used the printing press to print books is probably not around anymore. I have no clue how to even look up that information. But the printing press, the concept of printing new books is still around, even though now we have way easier way to print books than the early printing presses. And those technologies, those concepts, those protocol layer inventions, they are changing the paradigm. We're calling it a paradigm shift. It's something so fundamental in our DNA, in our being, that it's completely changing how we think. And it is those are the technologies that have a fork in the road of human civilization. So first we went the one way, and all of a sudden someone said, hey, we can walk that way, and we are like 500 years faster at our target. And everyone is all of a sudden shifting towards that other direction. And the few people that don't go there, they have to come to the other side also, because they don't know that's a dead end. They don't realize that fork that they went to and they stayed on the same road, it's a dead end. And Bitcoin is one of those technologies where you're actually forced to adopt it. And it's just a question of like, when will you adopt it? First, for the first question of like, should I even get into Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin and all those things? Yeah, like that's that. You can buy it now, or you can buy it in 10 years or in 50 years, but at some point you have to buy it. You're forced to. That you don't have a choice in that matter. It's not voluntary. Bitcoin is forced onto you, not by the central bank, but by Mother Nature, I would say, by game theory, by incentives, by the protocol layers. The same way as you are forced to use the wheel because you are on a train, or you are on a bicycle, or you are on a car, you have to use the wheel. You are also forced to use Bitcoin at some point. Is that in 10 years or in 100 years or in 500 years? Hard to say. But at some point you are forced to. And so why not adopt it before everyone else does it? Because now 99.99% of people are unaware of Bitcoin. And even those who are aware of Bitcoin and have Bitcoin, those are also not really into Bitcoin. Like only a few handful of people are really into Bitcoin. It's like 100,000, maybe 200,000 people, maybe 300,000 people. The rest of them, or rest of the millions of Bitcoiners, they're just having like a few thousand euros of Bitcoin laying in some Strike account. You didn't get it. If you have a net worth of 200,000 and you have 1,000 euros in Bitcoin, you don't get Bitcoin. You're not a Bitcoiner. And so to the second question, should you build in Bitcoin? Should you do something in Bitcoin? Should you have a podcast in Bitcoin? Should you build a company in Bitcoin? Should you do all those things? Also, yes. But why? If you are not only someone that goes first on the new road, you have an advantage because you can plant ice cream shops on the road. You can plant water stops on the road, and you can charge people for those things, and you own things in this new road. And you can be a service provider, a product, a service, whatever you want to do on that new road. And so being early in that trend and being there where the road is, where everyone will come. If you are standing in the middle of the desert and you know everyone will build their Las Vegas towers there, you will just buy the land and build the towers, build the hotels, build the restaurants, and be there and charge a fortune for that. It's super easy if you think about it. So if you are convinced of Bitcoin and you're convinced of the things that I say, you're wasting your time building for any other industry. You're wasting your time and energy not doing something for Bitcoin. Now, a very, very important disclaimer. There are people that actually like their fiat job. They actually just work and they actually really enjoy what they're doing. They maybe are a doctor, maybe they are a lawyer, maybe they are, those are apparently the two professions that come to my mind right now. They are maybe like software engineer, they are like a teacher, like whatever they are. They maybe like that so much that they don't want to give it up. And that's fully understandable. And for them, it's probably the best play to just keep doing that. Because at the end of the day, even though Bitcoin is a paradigm shift, Bitcoin is still just money. So the best thing you can do for yourself and for your family is to just adopt it as money. Yes, you can
do your fiat job and
benefit also if you build a company in Bitcoin. Exactly. That's the whole point of it. And the point I was making is like you can still do like the Bitcoin company, like build something in Bitcoin, but that's hard and it's risky. And I know Bitcoin will win, but there are a lot of Bitcoin companies that already failed, and there's a new wave of Bitcoin companies that will also fail. my point is, if you have an easy way and you can do something in the Bitcoin ecosystem and you are a Bitcoiner, you probably will like it a lot, working with a bunch of lunatics like us. But if you don't have an easy way in there and you like your job, you like what you're doing, like why change it? Like just like save in Bitcoin and you will retire very early and you can do Bitcoin things later. So you can change the road from this dead end to the Bitcoin end, but just be someone that walks on the road, that works for an ice cream shop, that works for someone and just like gets the Bitcoin payments. I just had that very early, and you probably feel it when I talk, but like I couldn't anymore not work on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But this is like, then we come from those 200,000 lunatics to like, I don't know, 5,000 lunatics, 10,000 lunatics that actually are very passionate about that actually want to do something in Bitcoin and building things. So that's my very long-winded answer to a very easy question. So sorry for my tangent.
But it was a very important one because, a lot of people come up with these questions like, is it a good time to get started? Am I too late? What can I do? And kind of like they think, well, the exchanges are here, the wallets are here. What else can I do? But I always tell people, we're building this whole new world. There's so much stuff to get built. And nice jug there. I love the big Austrian pint glass with some water in it.
Yeah,
nice.
It's actually
you need to represent.
Actually a German one. Yeah, it's
Paulaner, no?
It's from Munich, from Germany.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Paulaner. It's a great one, a great beer. I don't drink beer. Full disclaimer: people think that I'm a beer freak because I drink out of that glass, but I've drank maybe 2 liters of beer all my life. And the average for an Austrian per year is probably like 100 liters, and I haven't drank a beer in like 2, 3, 5 years. I don't know. I've kind of stopped drinking alcohol, but
that's common between Bitcoiners, by the way. Quitting alcohol, or not even starting alcohol.
Yeah, but I love the glass because it has 1 liter in there.
Nice.
And I can just keep it on my desk, and I always have water. And I don't like I don't like this
convenience.
Yes,
you see, sometimes having a custodial glass, it is good. It's very convenient.
Exactly. I cannot hold my water. Like I hold my water self-custodial, I guess. That's my water.
That's true. So going back,
it's right next to like my micro seed things.
Nice. You've got everything by a handful away. So yeah, going back to what I was mentioning, we're building this whole new world. There's so much stuff to get built that if you're like, as you said, Robin, someone that's, that loves your job and you are a doctor or like a lawyer, someone that's dedicated a long time of your life to get your expertise, switching suddenly overnight to go and do something in Bitcoin is definitely not the right route. But if you're someone like right out of college today and loves innovation, loves tech, in the old world, there's such an oversaturation and competition where there's so many companies doing the same stuff that on this side, I feel like even though it's still really risky, and as you said, there's a lot of Bitcoin companies that have failed already and will fail, but there's so much to be built. And especially when we bring in Nostr into it, the decentralized data protocol, I mean, wow, and even if you want to go crazier, bring the AI factor, you have the Bitcoin, Nostr, and AI. There's so many things that could be built that could actually make, life easier and more interesting to people, that it's an endless loop of what should you do more than should I do anything? What do you think about that, Robin?
I think the Bitcoin, working in Bitcoin is only in close competition with working in AI these days. So those two things I'm always looking in of like, this is probably the most exciting two industries to be in right now and to work in, because the one thing will completely reshape the financial structure. And this is actually, in my humble opinion, more important than AI, but I'm biased. I'm working in Bitcoin, and the only thing that comes close to Bitcoin for me is AI. It's such a fast development that happens, and I use it every single day, and I'm completely dependent on all the softwares that I use in AI. And I didn't even use any of that 2 years ago. So it went really quick from not knowing about it to using it every single day and being obsessed with it. And I have a hard time understanding how I should run my business without AI now. Like it's just like very hard for me. If I have to do, I make a small, I just founded a small new company in Austria to make more efficient things. It's very boring. I will not get into it. But basically, I got a lot of forms, like I think like 30 sides of forms that I had to fill. And there were words in there from the bank that I didn't even know. Like I was like, is that Spanish? Is like I have no clue what that word means. And I just used AI, put that paper in AI and said like, please fill it for me with all the information you have. And then with like some adjustments of like, hey, what is that? What is that? Like, why did you fill here? Like, why did you point this there? Like why did you do that? Like, oh, should we not do this instead? And I put it and everything worked, and I did not get any revisions back from the bank, and they loved it, and it was perfect. And even Michael Saylor talks about that the trading things with Strike, Strive, and Stride, he made with AI. Like he's now no longer going into lawyer meetings. He's going into AI deep think mode, gets all these situations in there, then asks a bunch of questions, comes up with a plan, and then goes with that plan with all the things to the 1,000 lawyers and says, do that. So you are probably saving tens of thousands of euros, maybe hundreds of thousands of euros that you otherwise would have wasted on lawyers. You still need them to execute it.
And a lot of time, which is more precious than money.
Exactly. A lot of time that you were saving in that. And the same thing I do. I have a tax consultant and he's great. Like he's doing an amazing job. But I come to him with a plan. Like I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I need. And I'm like, this is what I want. And I just want to confirm that I did not make any mistake. And I want for him to just put the seal of approval on there. How long till I don't want his approval anymore? I'm just saying, AI, do it. I trust you, AI. Right now, we're not there. Not at all. It makes a lot of mistakes. It's an early technology. I already feel like 80% of the things that I have to interact with other people, like with AI. If you are writing me an email, chances are AI is writing you back. And I'm just looking at the message. I'm like, yeah, that's what I also would have written. Send. Thank you for watching this video. This was only a snippet of the podcast. And if you want to watch the full episode and get all of the context of this episode, you can click right here or here. Oh, maybe also here.